Today's video is going to be discussing strategies on how to get your protein from entirely plant-based sources. This is a common concern with people who aren't eating any animal-based protein anymore. They're really concerned with how they're going to get enough protein, how it's going to be affordable, and how they are going to fit that into their everyday lives. A really common concern that I hear is that people don't know how to get enough protein, they don't know where to get plant-based protein sources from, or they think it's going to be really expensive. But if you have just a little bit of education, a little bit of coordination beforehand, it's definitely doable, and in some cases it's even easier and maybe even more cost-effective to eat an entirely plant-based diet. Another really common misconception about protein is that we need a lot more of it than we actually do. The recommended daily amount of protein for your average adult that is moderately active with a normal BMI is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. This is actually a really simple calculation. You just take your weight in pounds, you divide it by 2.2, and then you multiply that by 0.8. So this is the amount of protein in grams that you should be aiming to get throughout the day. That doesn't mean that if one day you get a couple grams less that it's going to be detrimental to your health. It's more of a goal that you should try to achieve throughout the week. Instead of looking at one day at a time, you should try to look at your diet throughout the spectrum of a week and make sure that you're meeting your needs throughout that extended time period. Of course, there's always exceptions to every rule, so if you have some disorder, some metabolic condition that requires more protein, you should definitely listen to your doctor or your registered dietitian about your own individual protein needs. All right, let's start by breaking down proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids all linked together. There are 20 different amino acids, and 9 of those are considered to be essential amino acids, meaning that we can't make them in our body, so it's essential that we get it in our diet. A lot of people know that meat is a complete protein, so it contains all 9 of these essential amino acids, which is why people think that it's critical to use meat to get a complete protein. Luckily for us though, there are plenty of plants that do have most, if not all, of the essential amino acids, and there are also plenty of combinations that you can use to get all 9 amino acids into one meal. We call these complementary proteins. A complementary protein is defined as a food that, when eaten in combination, they do provide the complete range of all 9 essential amino acids. So it's not necessarily essential for you to eat all of these foods at the same time, at the exact same meal. It's more important that you eat these foods throughout the day and that you're getting all of these foods in the same time frame so that your body can metabolize them and use all of those essential amino acids to build the right proteins. Protein is also best digested and metabolized and utilized when it's eaten throughout the day instead of having all of your protein concentrated into one meal. And a huge added benefit of getting your protein from plant-based sources is that while meat contains no fiber, virtually all of the plant-based proteins have at least some fiber, and fiber is really great for your gut health. It's great for just your intestinal health in general. I'll be doing another video later about gut health and fiber and how you can support your gastrointestinal microbiome, but that's one of the benefits of getting your protein from plant-based sources is that they have tons of fiber. To make this simple, the basic principle of combining complementary proteins into one meal is to put together foods from 2 to 3 of the following categories: whole grains, beans and legumes, and nuts and seeds. You can tell a food is a whole grain if it is declared on the package with this symbol. Or you can take a look in the ingredients to see if it's listed as a whole grain. Some of the common whole grains include corn, rice, oats, quinoa, barley, sorghum, spelt, rye, and wheat. These usually make a great base for your dish. Our next category is made up of beans and legumes, and there are tons of different beans that I'm sure you're familiar with. There are black beans, kidney beans, navy beans, you name it, pretty much all of these are great to add in. Soybeans are also particularly useful since they're considered to be a complete protein themselves, and they can come in the form of tofu, tempeh, miso paste, edamame, and obviously soy milk. Chickpeas, lentils, and peas also make up this group, and pea protein has been gaining a lot of popularity lately. And for the final category, we have nuts and seeds. These can be eaten in between meals as a snack, they can be sprinkled on top of dishes, baked into recipes, or mixed in as nut butters. Some examples of these would be hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower and sesame seeds, which I personally like to mix in as tahini. You have peanuts, almonds, pistachios, cashews, walnuts, hazelnuts, pine nuts, pecans, and the list goes on and on. is an example of a pretty typical day for me. I will often start my day off with about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter on whole grain toast, and I'll also have 1 cup of soy milk in my coffee. Around the afternoon, I'll probably have about 3 ounces of nuts as an afternoon snack, and then for lunch, I might have about 3 ounces of tofu in a stir fry with some vegetables and rice. And then for dinner, I will have a mixture of brown rice and black beans with bell pepper, and I will put that on maybe 3 corn tortillas. And altogether, this gives me about 68 grams of protein, which is well over my daily needs. I'd like to say that this video isn't trying to talk anybody into eating an entirely plant-based diet. I'm simply trying to provide you information on how to do it if you are already motivated to get all of your protein from plant-based sources. A quick little side note is that this video is about protein, since a lot of people voice a concern about protein when eating a plant-based diet, but there are other deficiencies that people are concerned about or that you should be aware of if you are eating a plant-based diet, and that video is going to be coming. But for now, that's all the information I have about complementary proteins for you today. If there are any questions that I didn't address, please feel free to reach out to me, comment, or send me a message, and I will try to get back to you. If you like this video, please follow, like, or subscribe so you can keep getting solid evidence-based information on how to get a full balanced diet while eating entirely plant-based. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in my next video.